Welcome to Bric-a-Brac. Today we're going to be comparing the 2011 Mandalorian set versus the 2020 Mandalorian set. Oh yeah. So here we go with the review. So I've been waiting a long time to review these two sets together. Finally got them in front of me, and it's quite interesting to see them both together. But even more interesting is seeing them with Boba Fett. And I'm going to bring him into the mix because he's actually more like these Mandalorians than the old Mandalorians. And he comes from set 75137. Star Wars set, carbon, chamber. Oh no, I should put it there. Oops. Oh dear. That's not good. So, here we go. So I put them on a brown sort of base plate. I'm trying to recreate this sort of scene here. So I've placed them as they are on the packaging in the same positions. So let's just do a little 360 of these real quickly. Real 360. Get them all the way around. He's missing his backpack, just to show you, in case you didn't know, there are no prints on the back of the old ones. And also I couldn't find the fourth jetpack. Yes, for your viewing pleasure. Right, so let's lift up the capes real quickly. Right, let's take each element and put it on a white base plate so we can take a closer look at it and compare. So there's the speeders side by side. Now, it literally looks like the new speeder is a beefed up, militarized version of the old one. The builds are actually quite different, but in every aspect, the new one is wider, thicker, and slightly more detailed. In fact, the only similarities that these two share is the handlebars, this round piece, and the piece underneath, and the wings. That's it. But far, far superior in firepower. And it's got this little engine outlet there as well. I really like that. So darken it down a bit too bright. So yeah, I like this little engine outlet there, detail there. And then an extra one of these bar pieces. Or 1x2 brick with bars on the side. I like the way they've switched up the colours as well. But I thought the old one was quite adequate, but now this one has new engine detail and an engine outlet. This new one kind of looks like how are you actually moving. The old one I think is better though at the bottom because it comes with this clear plate, or clear brick, round brick that makes the craft looks like it's hovering, whereas the new one just basically sits on the ground. Now I'm going to add a couple of round one plate clear tiles under here. I think they could have done that and it would have kind of been more realistic because it kind of needs to look like it's levitating. Interesting. So the same height, but the new one doesn't. The new one doesn't have any levitation and reaches all the way to the bottom with its brick built of the actual device itself. Let's take the figures off real quick. So there we go. Just rotate those around. 360. So yeah, they're both nice, but I do like this souped up version. I just wish it had two flat round plates on the bottom there. You know, it'd be better if they had two because it would hold structure, you know, and also be helpful to balance. This having that on the bottom though, a plate, or not plate, sorry, a brick sized round piece would be too high because it would be sitting right up here otherwise, and that's no good. Alright, let's crack on to looking at the next part, which is the side builds, side by side. So there they are, there's two side builds with their minifigures attached. So, the old structure was like basically a little defense turret, whereas This is actually more of a kind of like makeshift, outcrop in a rock place where someone's just come along, or the Mandalorian's come along and just placed a gun there in this rocky alcove, Whereas this is actually a structure that's been built. Now, if you look around the back, let's take the figures off. Pretty basic fare. Now, this has all basic parts, real simple parts. Has a stud shooter, so maybe seen as extra play value. But I much prefer this gun here, with this very unique cannon piece. You can see that there. Just take that off, so you can get a closer look at that. Ugh, look at that. If you've not seen this piece before, it's very interesting. I don't think I've seen it in any other set apart from this one. Let's try to get it to focus. Focus. That's it. Yes, that's a really interesting part there. And this is the only set that I've seen it in. And I spent ages trying to find this, because I've only got a couple of these, even though I've got like 30 of these figures, the old Mandalorian figures. I've only got a couple of these. So yeah, really, really interesting part that. And that might have actually cost quite a bit of the parts budget. Let's put it back. So that is the turrets, and they're both kind of cool, but I definitely prefer the 2011 turret much more than the new one, or the new outcrop side build. Right, now let's take a look at some of those minifigures. So there they all are, fully equipped with their weapons, and we also have Boba Fett in the middle of them all, looking really good. Now, obviously the old one, in my opinion, had more realistic weapons, more better weapons for collectability. The two small stud shooters and this cannon piece. That was really quite nice. Nice idea. I mean, I don't really like how this plays, because he's barely able to hold on to this. He's barely able to hold on to it because it's pushing into his chest. But just about works. It's quite a nice idea. He has to kind of fire it at an angle to the side, but still, I like it. I think it's a good use of parts. It looks kind of cool. We haven't seen that part being used in that way before. And again, this cannon, absolutely excellent. But without a studded base, he is going to fall over. You could use a stand in itself. They don't give you an extra. They don't give you an extra weapon like these blasters for this guy. So he is, I suppose, intended to hold this weapon that's normally mounted on the cannon. Now on this side, with the new Mandalorian set, we've got 4 stud shooters. So like standard fare in most battle packs, they come with stud shooters now. Now I wish they would just include at least 1 or 2 normal blasters. But again, I don't really agree with some YouTubers making a big deal about this. LEGO puts these stud shooters in because it just increases playability. Kids like them, basically. Long story short, they don't really care about collectability. If you want to get a ton of these blasters for a low price, or relatively low price, at least as low as LEGO's own price, there are plenty of online sources to get basically copies of these blasters. I've got a couple actually that look exactly the same as these, 100% exactly the same, apart from they don't have the C mark or the LEGO mark on them. But other than that, they are exactly the same. So you can get yourself a whole bunch of these anyway, if you want to have these blasters for your figures. So not really much to complain about there, like some other LEGO YouTubers. Oh, I wish they'd have blasters and stop putting stud shooters in the sets. I don't care. Put stud shooters in the set. If I really need loads of blasters, I'll just go and order them online from a third-party website. They look exactly the same as these. No big deal. So stop complaining about it, people. I've actually got one of those fake shooters, fake blasters to hand to show you. Let me have a look. No, I'll save that for another video. Anyway, about alternative weapons for your minifigures, including custom weapons, and copies of LEGO and own design weapons from places like Brick Arms. But that's another video. I've actually got quite a lot of different firearms. So that's the front view. let's take all the weapons off. So there they all are with their weapons removed and their hands to the sides. So we get a better look at their prints. There we go. Now all the Mandalorians here in the new set have black heads, just in case you don't know. The Mandalorian is actually this one on the end there. So as for printing, the new ones, 3 of them are much like the original Boba Fett. You see there, with the printing, very similar. Level of printing as well. Got like metallic effect on these figures, just like the Boba Fett figure. And interestingly, the Mandalorian doesn't have much metallic. Actually, the Mandalorian is, in itself, even though the Mandalorian is supposed to be about this guy, he actually has the least printing and the least interesting stuff going on, you know. So there's the front. This one's got kind of like it kind of reminds me of a paintball splat there. Yeah, so let's lift up their capes so we can see the back. Just a quick note, the old Mandalorian set was part of the Clone Wars series on the animated TV show and has the angry Clone Wars angry face, and then the Boba Fett figure just has like an angry clone face, standard angry clone face, because he is basically the one they're all reproduced from, I think. It's either Boba Fett or Jango Fett. There we go, put those helmets back on. So there's the front prints. Just a fun note on the front prints. Very basic for the 2011 set. Incredibly basic. Yeah, these prints on these new ones are very good. Much like this sought after Boba Fett figure here, which they share a lot more in common with than the old Mandalorian set. Spin it around, have a look at the backs. So what printing do we have at the back? Pretty simple design, all very similar. What does Boba Fett have the back on his? So Boba Fett is very similar printing to these guys actually, but his sort of back of his vest is a little bit wider at the bottom. But the belt's pretty much the same, very similar. So there we go, that's the back printing. Let's spin this around then. So there they all are, back in orderly fashion. So yeah, so a lot of people have been saying online, complaining about these new Mandalorians not having any jetpacks. Now, I disagree that they should have jetpacks. I think they're perfectly fine without them. Reason for that is because I don't think the Mandalorian actually has a jetpack in the TV show, the actual one. I've not seen it, it's not come to the UK yet. Well, I've only seen clips on YouTube. I've not seen him with a jetpack. Let me know in the comments if he does actually have one. But Boba Fett has a jetpack, of course, like these guys. But he only has a side sort of shoulder. I wouldn't even call that a cape. It's kind of like I don't know, shoulder cloth, whatever you'd call that. And so that would be what these would have to do. And I don't think that'd be very accurate to the TV show. And honestly, I think the parts budget was already going high as it was. And the budget for the whole set in general, to put this level of Boba Fett style prints on the helmet and torsos and legs of 3 of these figures as it was. So I think that's enough. I don't think we need any jetpacks. And to be honest, if you want them, if you really, really want these guys to have jetpacks, then just go and get yourself some of these. They're not that expensive, these old Mandalorians online. I pick them up all the time in hauls. I've probably got at least 30 of them. You know, just put 4 of these on these guys, or 3 of them on these 3 ones, or on 3 of them. You know, you can't ask for too much from LEGO, to be honest. You know, they've done a pretty decent job here, in my opinion, on these figures. Now, I would have liked maybe some print on the actual Mandalorian. Maybe in the show he doesn't have any print on his legs or whatever, or any detail, but maybe some textured print for, like, you know, give some sort of texture for the legs or trousers. just to show that he had print there. But that's my only complaint really. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with these guys. They're pretty cool to have, and I like putting them alongside Boba Fett. I do actually have Jango Fett, but I can't remember if he actually has this new helmet style or not, because the older Boba Fett's and Jango Fett's had an open helmet. But that'll be coming in a future video when I compare the old Mandalorians versus the really old Mandalorians and Jango Fett and Boba Fett, who technically Jango Fett and Boba Fett are actually Mandalorians. But still, very nice indeed. Let's put their weapons on and have a final outro. So real quickly, with this guy, there's nowhere to put his blaster, the Mandalorian's blaster, so I can't just stick it to the side like that. But maybe LEGO could have come up with a better way of doing that. But still, both really good sets. I hope you've enjoyed this video and you've managed to pick up the new Mandalorian set, and maybe you even managed to pick up the Boba Fett in the 75137 set back in the day. I like them. They both look good, and they look even better with Boba Fett. Get some light on there. Thank you very much. Oh, the cat's saying hi as well. Excellent. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.